Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Connecting With show. This is the show producer, and I just would like to introduce this special guest host this evening. Betty Jane Ware is out of town. She's actually just arrived in the UK. And so while she's away, her hubby will play. Well, that is on her show anyway. So the special host this evening is Betty Jane's husband, Patrick Ware. And he will discuss topics that Betty Jane won't, such as like paranormal, conspiracy theories. Him and another individual that's coming on, Dennis Anderson. Dennis Anderson is a psychic medium, so between both of them, they can take calls. So if you've called in, please remain on the line, and Patrick and Dennis will both take some calls. And know that this is going to be a very fascinating and very informative show. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to see Patrick and Dennis are both here. So I'll bring them both on, and I will mute myself. So welcome, Patrick and Dennis. And you guys have fun.
Okay, we will. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I hope you're ready, Dennis. Are you?
Sure, why not?
Okay, well, I guess the first thing I'd like to say is that my wife does this show every week, or most weeks, and she doesn't really prepare, get nervous or anything, and just jumps on the air. I just spent 2.5 hours going over stuff and trying to figure out what I want to talk about. And right before we came on the air, as I told Tiffany, my mind went blank. So we're going to do a little start thing. So first of all, tonight's show, I have Dennis. Obviously, you've heard. Dennis is a good example, and I are a good example of not necessarily agreeing on everything, because we're kind of at opposite ends of the scale when it comes of a lot of things. But we take it in stride and go for the beer after and laugh it off. We try to change each other's mind, and sometimes we do, but not very often. What I wanted to we have some callers, but I just want to go over a couple things first. So
Sure.
I want to go over how much anger there is in the world right now, and that's sort of where it's headed between Dennis and myself. We disagree on a lot of things. We agree on a lot of things too, but we don't seem to take it personally, and we don't get angry. And I think I find right now too many people are just taking everything so personally and disagree with me, and you're crazy, and off you go. I don't know, Dennis, what do you think of that?
Well, to be honest with you, it's the same sort of thing that I've gotten, let's say, not just from clients, but because I also work as a psychic and a medium just like Betty Jane does. I'm sure she's probably even kind of noticed it even with her own clients, that, let's put it this way, there is some sort of common thing there. And you can even see it too, let's say even on Facebook or something like that. And basically what I'm trying to get at is that there seems to be a larger polarization, I guess you could say, going from either one aspect or another. Like there's no gray area, it seems like, so much anymore in between. But it just seems like everybody's polarizing from one end to the other. Like there's no halfway mark anymore, it seems like. And that causes a lot of, let's put it this way, frustration and anger, I guess you could say, frustration and confusion, and sometimes people just don't want to see the other, put the shoe on the other foot, so to speak. You know what I mean? And it makes it tough.
Yeah. So I have a kind of a silly question, and I sort of mentioned it to you today. Does the world need its chakras aligned or something, or
Well, I think that's what's happening, to be honest with you. Is I think there's a big, I guess you could say, a worldwide global chakra sort of shift, I guess you could say, and that kind of happens. Like, especially, the funny thing is even over the past couple of weeks, I've noticed even within myself, like I've just been feeling a lot more emotional. I've been feeling more like, like just one way or the other, it seems like, and I just don't know what's going on there. But from what I understand, like I'm not an astrological sort of person, but there's, let's put it this way, there seems to be, I think it's like a Saturn retrograde or something like that, but it's throwing a lot of people off.
No, all my New Age friends always say it's Mercury in retrograde. But we have a caller. We have a caller there, Dennis. So what we're going to do is when you call in, I'd like you to answer a question for me, too, the two callers. One of them is, do you have a favorite conspiracy in the world or a conspiracy movie that you really like? So we have a caller, number 805. So, Dennis, get ready. Here it comes.
Oh, geez.
Hi,
I know.
this is Donna.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Hi, Donna.
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Where are you calling from?
California. Yeah.
All right. I like
Nice.
California.
Yeah, the beach was lovely today. Very nice.
Gee,
Yeah.
not so much here.
Where are you?
We're in Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
Oh, I heard it's beautiful there, though.
It is. It's the center of the universe.
For the rain today.
No,
Oh, yeah.
It's always beautiful. Yes, we're just worried about the hockey thing that's going on tomorrow night, where they're taking players from all the teams. But no one else cares about that. But
I don't worry so much about it.
That's a big thing there in Canada, huh? Hockey.
Oh, it is. Well, Tiffany likes it too, right, Tiffany? Well,
yeah, there's another conspiracy that goes along with that too, but we won't get into that.
Oh, geez. Okay. Do you have a question for Dennis? I guess is our reader tonight. So.
What, like a psychic question? Like I want a psychic question answered?
Any question you
have? Two things on my mind. One is I'm not working. I get a little money in because I'm at the retirement age, but it's not enough to have any fun with. So I wanted to know if you see any windfalls or money coming in somehow, and also a relationship. These are the two things I'm working on.
Okay, well, the first thing that I'm actually, to be honest with you, that I'm getting here is I'm not really getting like any big windfalls. Okay, so in other words, let's put it this way: I'm not seeing any lotteries or anything like that coming up. At least not for a while yet. But I do feel that there is going to be some sort of, lump sum that's coming up, and it feels like it could be, but it's not for a couple of years yet. Let's put it that way. That's as far as I can kind of look. So let's put it this way, though. What I do feel for you, though, is that there is, I think there's some opportunities that are going to be coming up for you. It almost kind of relates to something like I don't know if it's like a hobby or something like that, but something that you can actually monetize. Okay, and that's the funny thing about it. It almost feels like there's some sort of passion within you that that can come out. Interesting. But it's almost like you're kind of wondering, like, no, not really. I never really thought of it that way. But I think if you actually kind of examined it a little bit more, you'd probably find that there's a little bit more possibility there for you. What do you do, or what do you like to do as a hobby?
I like to write a little bit, and I like to walk and go to the gym, and I'm in a group now that's starting. It's a meetup group. It's starting next week on abundance, how the power of attracting. Yeah. So I'm going to be doing
that's a very good idea because actually I just kind of did a couple of cards here for you, and the first thing that I'm actually kind of getting here is the Three of Cups, which, let's put it this way, that relates to the meetup, I guess you could say. So with you actually working with other people, it does feel actually pretty good that way. With you actually enjoying the writing and stuff like that, it does feel like there could be some possibility there for you. Like whether as a, let's say, for example, like I don't know on what scale of writing that you're at, but let me put it to you this way: it could be something like a blog or something like that, where you could actually kind of monetize that. you know, like take the passions that you have and actually.
Traveling is a big passion of mine. Traveling. I was in Ireland for 3 months, and then Italy and Taiwan and South America and Turkey, and yeah, I love to travel. I'm hoping to meet someone that him and I can travel. Someone retired.
Well, the thing is, what would be interesting though is actually doing like a travel sort of blog. You know, like a lot of people
that's
are
possible.
interested in.
Wow,
I'm just throwing that out there.
That was it. That I came up with that too while she was talking. You know, there's not enough people that. I don't know your age, but you said you're retired, so I'm guessing you're over 29.
Yeah, I'm 63.
Well, no, but my mom. No, I'm going to say something here. My mom's 82, and she just went to the UK with Betty Jane, and it was her first trip, and she, for some reason, turned around when she turned senior, got nervous about traveling. So you could write something about that, and that's like how not to, you know, it's okay to be a senior and travel. Not that you're quite a senior, but you know what I'm saying.
That's actually a very good idea. Yeah.
Well, I'm not just another pretty face, Dennis.
Well, you do have a face for radio, so. Now the other.
I want to ask you real quick about a relationship, Dennis, because my friend passed away, Melissa, and her husband. They had married a year ago. They were together 10 years. He lives in Kentucky, but he's from my town, and he talked, and he had hinted about me coming there. But it was so soon after she died, I felt a little uncomfortable with it, and I didn't really pursue it. But he asked me to be on Facebook, and now he's met another woman. So I don't know if it's ever going to happen between him and I, or you see somebody else. He went real quick.
Well, I am getting somebody actually. Yeah, I am kind of getting, let's put it this way, I am getting somebody that, let's put it this way, that seems to be coming in like masculine sort of energy that does have, let's put it this way, I don't want to say stubbornness or anything like that, but their mind is kind of set, I guess you could say. They seem to be very, I guess you could say, very confident in their abilities. Okay, so in other words, that could lead to a little bit of strong ideas and stuff like that, where, let's put it this way, like I said, they're very confident, okay, and that's the thing there.
Okay.
So I am getting somebody that is kind of, like, let's put it this way, they are a little bit older as well, so they're probably around your age, okay?
Okay.
And it does feel like it's actually going to happen. There's some things, though, that have to be put into place first. Okay, so in other words, you got to sort of open yourself up a little bit, and I think that meetup group that you mentioned about going to, where you're going to, let's put it this way, you know, like talk about abundance and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the energies that kind of go along with that can actually help you to open up your own, let's say, the relationship aspect of the energy too.
Okay, I got to jump in here, Dennis.
Yeah,
I'm going to jump in because I'm going to answer the question more bluntly. No, you're not getting together with this guy.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm not a psychic and I'm not a medium, but I can tell you, I just listened to everything that you said, and you're too good for that. You need to move on. You need to move on. Sometimes we recycle too much in life, and it's time to unrecycle and take a fresh wrapper off someone and go get it. Okay.
Yeah.
And I do.
Yeah.
And I need to ask another question. Okay. I do think there is someone coming too, because you're too vibrant and fun. So I'm supposed to remember to ask you, what your favorite conspiracy theory is, or favorite conspiracy movie?
I don't know what that means. Conspiracy.
Well, it means like what is. Oh, you explain it, Dennis.
Well,
I'm going to throw you on the spot.
Conspiracy is like, let's put it this way, you know, like how they used to have, they talk about the men in black, you know, like how they would come in and they would actually fix something in behind the scenes, you know, like they would alter, let's put it this way, policy or something like that within the government to reflect what they want and not so much what the people want.
All right, now I'm going to jump in here. Men in Black aren't a conspiracy. They've been proven, so they are real. And then Roz just said Bigfoots and aliens. Those aren't conspiracies. They're real, too. So, okay. No, it was things like in a more darker sense, the 9/11, was it a false flag thing? Is there shadow governments and that's all? That's what we mean.
I don't get that deeply involved with any of it, to tell you the truth. I kind of stay away from the news, and
that's smart, because it's like a rabbit hole. No, it's like a rabbit hole.
Thought and negativity and this and that. I mean, life is to be simple, and I have my loved ones, my brothers and sisters and nieces and nephews and my friends, and I just kind of keep my life simple.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Well, thank you for calling in.
Oh, thank you.
And,
thank you very much.
You have a great night, and I hope we helped, or Dennis actually helped you.
Oh, yeah, well, both of you. Both of you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right.
Bye.
Okay. Bye. Well, that was well done there, Dennis. I'm kind of impressed, actually. And I don't say that about you very often, so.
I know, and I don't say that about you either, so let's put it this way.
We're both electricians, by the way, in the same union and everything else. So we don't know each other that well, but we're slowly getting to know each other. So
yeah, whether it's a good thing or bad thing, we don't know yet.
Well, it may not be good for the world. Okay, so you and I had a little debate on Facebook the other day about liking a little bit, but liking which social media memes. I don't know how you say it, but some of them are kind of funny and we like them and we go, oh, I like them. But if you trace them back to where they come from, sometimes it can be from a very dark space on the. Yeah, and well, Dennis, you're a pseudo celebrity, and I don't mean that in a bad way or a good way. Just you put your name out there. You're on a lot of radio and TV, like my wife. Do you find that your social media now you have to be a little more careful about what
the thing
you
is,
like?
And that's actually, and let's put it this way. As much as I hate to say it, you do kind of have to watch a little bit, I guess you could say, with what you do say, how you say it, and how you approach certain things, because, like I said, or like we even mentioned earlier in the, like how things are kind of polarizing back and forth a little bit there. Like where people are getting very much more energetic about, like taking a stance on something. And it could be vegan, it could be animals, it could be whatever. You do have to kind of watch, especially if you're a public person or persona or whatever. You got to watch. It seems like, like it's hard to have an opinion.
Well,
without shaking a feather or two.
I'm going to tell you how this started with my little, I don't know what you call it, crusade or Don Quixote thing where I tilt at windmills. Is that I was listening to a show, one of my favorite paranormal shows, and I'm not going to name it and all that stuff because he's not here to defend himself. But it had a really interesting guest on, so I started researching the guest. It turned out they were a very racist, very xenophobe. I started looking into some of the stuff he's put out and stuff, and I went, wow. And you're giving this a voice you're normalizing it. And I just, that's where it started for me. Then I started going on these memes like you and I, as I was goofing around one day and I started following. And turns out one of the ones that I like that I've been following is a Nazi website and a alt-right website, believes in killing people and all this stuff. And I went, oh, gosh. And they were funny little memes and photos, nothing scary until you start getting deeper. So,
well, the thing is, and going along with the whole conspiracy theory thing, I guess you could say, is that, let's put it this way, like, I work as a consulting hypnotist, okay? So in other words, I help people by using words and by helping them to, kind of relax and kind of get into a state where they could, bring out something that they need to be healed, whatever it is, even if they want to quit smoking, whatever. But the thing is that, let's put it this way, psychologically, there's a lot of stuff that is put out there, like what they call the clickbait or whatever it is on Facebook or other social media sites, like, oh, you got to see this, And you won't believe, like those types of captions. What is it doing? It's making a person wanting to, like, oh, well, I'm curious now. Okay, I'm going to click on that. And what?
Well, we've all done it, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm guilty. I'm totally guilty of that sort of thing because of the fact that like you get curious. But the thing is that even if you want to look at it even from a scientific sort of standpoint, what is it doing? There's a little squirt of dopamine or whatever it is that gets released in your own brain when you start doing that type of stuff. It gives you a little bit of a high when you do the clicks, or when you're looking on the Facebook or whatever, and it's let's put it this way, like it's a psychological thing, and when you kind of take it from a larger context, you can do a lot of control of people and the masses, I guess you could say, just by introducing certain, I guess you could say, ideas.
Absolutely, and that, I just feel like, well, this week, if you want to go a bit topical, is Alex Jones was on with Megyn Kelly, right? And I don't know if everyone knows who Alex Jones is, but he's the InfoWar guy. And you go through all his conspiracies, from shadow governments to you name it. I mean, he's done every one. It's almost like he makes one up and then goes with it instead of actually and putting the facts to fit his conspiracy theory rather than seeing something there. I hope I can explain that a bit better. And it's scary because a lot of his stuff is very angry. And I'm just using him as an example. And,
Sure.
He's obviously a very popular guy, but I'm saying you've got to look at where some of this stuff's coming from. So,
but I can understand, I guess you could say, a little bit of, it's almost like a constructive anarchy that they kind of try to make or something like that. But the thing is, though, is that that's not helping anybody either. You know what I mean? Like,
well,
it's good to be informed, and it's good to, like, kind of, like, look at something and say, like, okay, is this really happening? Like, we should be judgmental to that extent, in a way, where we can look at something and say, like, okay, does this make sense? Does it not make sense? I don't know. Like,
well,
go ahead.
I'm going to say this, and this is, I wouldn't mind if, like, I have some, obviously I have some definite beliefs and some conspiracy theories that I like, but I'm not doing it for money. I'm doing it because I enjoy it, and I enjoy talking to other people who want to discuss it and get into it. But I feel that they're doing it for money. And if you're doing this for money, now you're stirring up people for a bad reason. I don't believe it's wrong to stir up people. The fire that happened in England, we have a lot of friends that live around there. My wife is very involved in the UK. And it was a very traumatic thing in our house.
Oh, sure.
And
you worry, right?
Well, yeah. And now we sat there and I have some very, as you would say, left-leaning pinko commies on my friends list, and I have some very conservatives, and it was really funny. They all came to the same side and said, "We need an inquiry now," and they both stirred it up for a very positive. We're not going to let this happen again, kind of thing. That was that to me shows a positive thing.
Well, the thing is that, and I do feel though that you got to have. Like, if you want the positive, you got to witness the negative. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
like
we
sometimes, like, go ahead.
No, we just can't give them a voice. We have to. If something's coming out with hatred, then we got to stop it and maybe make them realize it is hatred. Because a lot of times, I don't think people realize what they're saying. They've been told something and they believe it, and I think that's very difficult. You know, we're getting really deep here, Dennis. This is cool.
That's what happens when we get together, I guess, eh?
I know, and no beer either.
Entertaining for the listeners out there, anyway. That's what counts.
Well, I wasn't even worried about that. Yeah. So, anyway, this is going to sort of lead into what Dennis and I we talked about what we'd like to talk about, and with conspiracy theories, and we came up with shadow governments. Now, shadow governments can be one of several things, but Dennis is one that he came out with, and sort of, if I'm wrong when you sort of said this, it was like the government, the people that we've elected to government are really like, especially in our country, Trudeau, very good-looking man, very speaks well, does all that, but does he have the experience to actually be running the government, or are there people behind him in his party actually running the government? He's a figurehead. And then another way of looking at it is that there's actual, this is all false that you watched. Even Donald Trump's false, and May is false. It's one big new world order, for lack of a better word, either Bilderberg or luminaries, or, you know, lots of things.
It's like they always say, right? Follow the money. Where does it all go?
Well, and that is a problem, because we're getting
like,
to 1% of 1% now, right? So
yeah, that's about it. And the thing is, too, that's actually kind of interesting, though, is that when you factor in, you know, people with a certain need for, I guess you could say, certain people. I don't want to say everybody, but there's a certain amount of people that just have this need for power, control, that type of thing. And when they get into a, you know, let's say maybe it was 100 years ago or 150 years ago when they first started that idea, or maybe even longer, who knows? Like, I'm sure it goes longer, but the thing is that when their hunger for power and they have an attainment of a certain amount of it, you know, like, what's better is to have somebody that's a figurehead that you can kind of pull a string on, and therefore not have to worry about your own sake. Because let's put it this way, like, let's say if you get Trudeau or you get Trump or you get May or whoever, well, they're only in office for 4 years.
4
and then
years,
where do they go? Yeah, when somebody who's in power that can, let's put it this way, you know, pull the strings, what are they doing? They can be there for 20 years, 30 years, 50 years.
Well,
you know?
There's actual theories that can trace, believe this or not, way back to the Ottoman Empire that is still running the world. And I've heard the theory, I heard someone talking about it, and I read a book about it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, the amount of research this guy did, and jumping to conclusions too, I will say.
Well, and that's the thing too, right? Like, how much is really out there, though?
Yeah, no, well, more than we probably know, but yes, you can get too caught up in it, like all conspiracy theories, and when you're looking for answers, what do you see? You see the answer you want, right? You know, I mean, as a psychic, you must have that being a problem a bit, because you see an easy, and I don't mean this in a bad way, you want to help this person, so you see, instead of using your psychic ability, you're using your coaching ability, maybe, because I know you coach as well, so, you know,
well,
is that true, or?
Well, I don't really like to look at, well, yes and no. It all depends on what it is that the person is looking for. You see, the thing is that as a psychic or whatever, really a lot of people are coming to you for some sort of advice. And it may not be something in the future, but it could be just something within their own life that they're wondering, like, oh, why am I seem to be missing out on something? Like, why am I lacking? It's like our previous caller, like, you know, like she's going to, let's say, for example, this meetup for abundance, you know, because there's something within her that she just wants to satisfy. And that's where, let's put it this way, sometimes a psychic or whatever, like, yes, they can give certain answers, but sometimes psychologically, on the other end of things, like, you know, like, we're here to also help them to see within themselves that, okay, yes, I am abundant. I just need to put certain things into place, and maybe it will start to come out. You know, like, because, hey, we're all here to enjoy, I guess you could say, an abundant life, you know, and that's the thing. Like, everybody on the planet really does. It's just that sometimes circumstances or our own upbringing or whatever gets in the way sometimes.
Well, it's a funny thing you should say, because there was a guy and he wrote a book about it, and I don't know the name of the book, and it just came to me while we were discussing this. He went to one of these. It wasn't a psychic fair; it was just a trade fair, and he decided he rented a booth and he put up a sign, free advice, right? Donations, and he thought he'd get 5 people. He ended up with 500 people in 2 days, and because people just wanted someone that wasn't part of the family or part of someone they knew, and they'd come up and they'd tell him the story, and he'd give him whatever advice it was, but he'd always say, remember something, that's free, right? So, you know, and I've always wanted to do that. One of the psychic fairs put up a thing for free advice, just because I'm not a psychic and I'm not a medium or anything. I like giving out free advice. But
well,
I just thought that was
like I like to look at us as like we're and you're right, you know, like because we are like we're not a family member or a friend or something like that, you know, where a person can be afraid to actually express themselves fully. And I've had lots of people that would, let's say, you know, they'll sit with me for a reading or whatever, and in essence, they just wanted to pour their heart out. You know, like it's not so much part of the reading. It was just they just wanted somebody to talk to. You know, like to bounce some ideas off of, and to get some insight or something like that. And you know, sometimes that's all a person needs. And it's
exactly
part of the process.
And this is a lonely world because yes, we talk to a lot of people every day and go out and do things, but really, how many times, and I'm going to ask this because I do this and I get laughed at for this, I walk by someone going down a hallway, I always say, hey, good morning or good afternoon or something. And sometimes it starts a conversation. And the guy's working with me, I'll go, oh, God, here he goes again. And I'm just saying, I do it because I think someone told me once, and I did this once and went to work and never thought about it again. And about 2 days later, I saw the same guy, and I'm walking by, and I sort of said hi. I was in my own world, and he comes up to me and goes, you know, I was having the worst day in my life, and you started talking to me, and I felt good. And I went, really? And he goes, yeah. And he says, it made my day.
You got a bit of an intuitive edge in you already. You just don't want to believe it.
Well, okay, I'll go there, but I mean, well, that's a good point. Okay, I get it. But when I wasn't really trying to pat myself on the back, but I mean, how many other people that people have just striked up a conversation and I'm going to be Canadian here in Tim Hortons or whatever, you know, while you're getting your coffee and that, and it made their day. Or they felt like, I live in an area with a lot of immigration and a lot of new Canadians and that, and their English isn't the greatest sometimes. They're trying their ass off. They're working at the shittiest jobs, and excuse my language, and stuff. And so I sit and talk to them. And I have a woman that I go get my coffee from every morning. If I don't show up for a week because I go the different direction on those days, she'll say to me, where were you? I missed you, guy. I missed you. You saying hi to me in the morning and stuff. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, back to the anger of the world, maybe there's not enough of that, and I'm not applauding myself. I'm saying, because I know a lot of other people do that. I'm saying maybe we need to start doing that.
And that's where it comes down to, and like I said at the beginning as well, though, is, you know, like we don't put ourselves into somebody else's shoes. We don't allow ourselves to change our perspective of life that little bit, to sit there and say, like, hey, what is this other person thinking, or what can I imagine that they're thinking, or what can I imagine that is going on in their life that makes them sad or makes them the way they are, you know, whatever it is. But the thing is that when you start to do that, it really takes away, let's say, for example, like the judgment. It takes away the anger. And what it does is it just opens up your whole perspective and opens up your eyes to another way of life. And therefore, what does it do? it leads to unconditional sort of love, I guess you could say, amongst everybody. And I'm raising my hands up in the air here, and I feel like one of those ministers on TV, like a televangelist all of a sudden. And you know what I mean?
We're going.
But the thing is that, you know, like if people just started doing that, I think that would change a lot of opinions about different things.
Well, let's start it here, okay? This wasn't where the show was going, but I was about the anger, and I know that's Tiffany's thing, because Tiffany's a very warm and amazing person, and she's always, we have chatted back and forth about the anger, and that's why I brought it up a little bit, because it's sort of one of Tiffany's things that I've seen and heard on her stuff that she does. And I think that maybe you and I got to start saying hi to people. So I applaud everybody just in the morning. Don't make a big deal out of it. I'm not saying, you know, make a nuisance of yourself, but just say, hey, you're standing in an elevator. Say, hey, how's it going? Good morning. If they don't want to talk, don't take it personally. Just say, okay.
That's okay.
Move on. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But who wouldn't want to talk to you or I?
I know, we're so pleasant.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but
like I said, we got faces built for radio. So the thing is, though, is that like how many times, let's say, even myself too. Let's say I've been at a bookstore the other day actually, and I had a guy. He came up to me and he goes, you know, like he's just, I have no clue who he is, but he just starts having a conversation with me, or at the grocery store or something like that. You're waiting in line, and all of a sudden the person behind you is just, you know, they start going and start chatting away, and that's okay. You know, like I've done that too, you know, like to people, just to, you know, and it helps to raise, like you say, it raises their vibration a little bit, I guess you could say. Or it changes their outlook on for the day even. You know, like, and it can be just something so simple as that. Like you say, hey, how's it going?
Yeah, no.
how are you doing?
This is bleeding into a little bit of a subject here, and I don't like talking about my wife when she's not around to answer. So, but I will say this: a lot of people, I almost have to run like a little blockade for her sometimes, because everybody wants a piece of her, and she wants to give that piece all the time. Like she's always wanting to help people and stuff.
And so giving.
Yeah, and my problem is, I see it when the door's closed, that she gets tired or she needs to recharge a little bit. And I'm sure you get it too, Dennis. I mean, I know that. Yeah. And I'm saying she would never, like, she won't not talk to people, and I can't, and I think that's and you guys are sort of, and I keep using the word pseudo celebrity because you're not like big stars or anything, but you, in your little circle, you're kind of important to people.
Well, the thing is that, you know, like, I don't want to, see, the thing is like, and that's where I have issue, okay, because of the fact, like, I don't want to be that important to a person, because I'm just want to help a person to, I guess you could say, shift their life just that little bit, so that this way they can see the importance within themselves.
Yeah, now that was a very nice point.
And to, let's say, for example, like if it's like, you know, because I know that a very large amount of the common term is like a healing for a person or whatever. Well, I'm a firm and strong believer that, you know what, we can heal ourselves. And really, we do. Like, we're the healer, you know, sort of thing within ourselves. We just have to be open to believing it. And once we do, that's when everything just opens up.
Well, what is the one thing that if you go to a psychiatrist or anything, they say, until you can love yourself, you can't love anyone else, right? And what's the hardest thing to do is to actually like yourself. You know,
that's true.
It's like well, it's like my kids, and I always loved my kids. Sometimes I didn't like them growing up, but I always loved them. No, it's true. There were points in my life, believe me, you know, and it's quite interesting. And I think that you're coming about it the right way, because I know I've done psychic fairs with you, like not with you, but I mean in the same fair
Yeah,
with Betty Jane and you. And a lot of people come up and go, "Well, it's all about the money." If it was all about the money, trust me, we wouldn't be there half the time. like this weekend, Betty Jane, and I'm not trying to highlight myself because I know a lot of psychics and people do this.
Yes.
Did a fundraiser for the Humane Society, and for me, that was pretty cool because both our dogs are rescue dogs. And it meant a lot that we could do that. And I know you've done. I know that someone in trouble, you've driven 2 or 3 hours out to a farm and tried to talk to people to make them feel better. So, you know.
Oh yeah, no, that's. But the thing is that and many of the other psychics and so forth that I do, let's say, within our circle, I guess you could say, and that's a very broad circle. Let's put it this way.
It certainly is.
But the thing is that, they're always running some sort of, let's put it this way, some sort of charity event, or they're helping out with it by setting up a booth to donate, oh yeah, sure, I'll donate my readings or whatever to this charity and that type of stuff, because, the interesting thing is that, yes, we are there to help to develop a community and a sense of, I guess you could say, belonging or whatever, and we do want to share that, and that's the thing, because that's what life is about. It's about it's about service, right?
No, you're right, but we're not. I'm not saying, so if anyone's listening, we're not altruistic. We can't do everything for that, but no. Yes, it is. We have another caller, Dennis. Caller 504 is going to come on. Remember to ask about the conspiracy theory thing, though. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, this is Debbie.
Hi, how are you? Hi, Debbie. How are you?
I'm doing good. I was wondering. That's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was wondering if you guys were taking any questions tonight.
Sure. Anything you want.
Okay. I kind of feel that I thought I know the way things were going to go at work, and I don't feel I feel that they've taken another turn, and I was just wondering if you could see anything for me, if I'm just, maybe it's really slow or it's back.
Well, Dennis, I'm going to let you take that.
Okay, I'm just giving the cards a quick shuffle here as I kind of tune into you, Debbie, and basically what I'm kind of getting off, first off the bat, is that it almost seems like that you're feeling like, oh God, is this going to happen again, sort of thing. Like, when is it ever going to end? Because I just kind of got the Ten of Swords here, so basically what that's kind of telling is that wow, it just feels like there's a lot of weight there behind it. But the nice thing about the Ten of Swords, what does it do? It has to cycle back again to the One of Swords, I guess you could say, or the Ace of Swords, I guess you could call it. And really what that means is there's going to be some new renewal here for you. So I do feel that there is going to be some, I guess you could say, some good things that are going to start to happen.
Okay.
But it's not going to be quite yet. It almost feels like it's going to be probably another couple of months yet, okay, before something really starts to kind of click in.
Okay. I didn't like that answer.
And I could be, then I'm
no,
sorry, I don't mean to.
Okay.
Go ahead.
It just feels like that movie Groundhog's Day in a way,
where it just keeps repeating over and over again.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand.
And it's true. That's it.
Okay. Can I ask a question? What are you doing to change things then? What have you done anything to try and change the dynamic, or are you just waiting?
Yeah. Well, just like in the movie, I've tried the good approach, the mean approach, the I'm standing up for myself approach, the I don't give a shit anymore approach, everything. So now I've been in this situation before, and I thought I mastered it, so I'm surprised I'm back here again. So the way I got out of it last time. Oh, geez, yeah.
Just
the way I got
a little bit longer. Sorry, I know, but But the thing is, those is like because of the fact, like I'm kind of getting, like, let's put it this way, like with the cards and stuff like that I've laid out already, is that yes, the universe is kind of taking you on this ride here a little bit for right now. But with the Four of Swords, it's kind of telling me is that yes, like there's some patience that has to be involved here. Okay, so just give it a little bit more time, and things are going to start to happen. But the interesting thing, though, is that I'm kind of getting that there's going to be an injection, I guess you could say, of some really new vital type energy that's going to happen here at work. So it could be possibly that there's going to be, let's say, maybe like the first word that pops into my head here is restructuring. Okay, so there's going to be some sort of restructuring.
That's going on now.
Oh, is it?
That's going on. It's a very slow process, but it is going on.
Isn't it? Yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So the thing is that with this restructuring, there is going to be some changes, and the only thing is that yes, they basically have to get their eggs into one basket here first, and then things are going to start to happen. Okay. So, but at the end of it all, I'm kind of getting the Sun card here, which is, let's put it this way, that's a wonderful card to have in regards to it. It just means that things are definitely going to get much better. Okay. So just give it a little bit more time. Okay.
Well, they owe me like a bonus money. Do you think I'm ever going to get that? I mean, it's from Christmas.
I do feel there is something coming, and I do feel like there is going to be, let's put it this way, it's kind of like that's on the back of their mind right now, just because of the fact that there is so many things kind of going on. But I do feel that there is going to be something coming, and it is going to happen fairly, I don't want to say soon, but I do want to say probably in about 3 weeks, actually, possibly. So.
Wow. Okay.
And it feels pretty good. Like there's almost I'm just kind of getting like numbers here, so I'm kind of getting like almost like it feels like it's in like $1,000 something, like a few thousand sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
yeah.
Like it almost feels somewhere between 3,000 to 5,000 or something like that.
About 3, yeah.
Yeah, because I just kind of got a 3 here in my head for some sort of reason, with a couple of, like a few zeros behind it. So there's going to be some, it's going to be good. Just, like I said, just be a little bit patient, a little bit longer, and see how it goes from there. Okay?
Okay, because I can't get fired. I tried.
Yeah, but
no, I think we've all tried to get fired. Yeah, we've all tried to get fired at one time. Yeah. Okay, so we didn't get where you were from. I'm sorry. So.
Oh, Louisiana.
Oh, Louisiana. Is that like New Orleans stuff? You know?
Yes, definitely New Orleans.
Remember, we're from Canada.
Do you have any interesting conspiracy theories that you've been thinking about at all, or ever thought about?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah, you. Yeah, you.
You mean with work?
Anything. Life.
Oh, no. Well, definitely with like the 3D and the 5D. It's like watching the Matrix lately, seeing the people that are awake and the people that are not awake. And you're just give me some popcorn, and I'm just watching the show because they don't hear you. It's almost, I don't know if you saw that movie Passengers with Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence. Did you?
Oh, I've heard about that.
No.
Yes. Okay.
There's a scene where these people are awake and they're walking around people that are asleep, and they just can kind of look at them in these pods. And I was like, well, isn't that interesting? And that is, I don't know if that's a conspiracy, but
it's a pretty good metaphor for what's kind of going on in life here now, it seems like. That's for sure.
Yeah, so they make things. It's weird, though, because you're just like, wow, you never were from that perspective before, outside looking in, basically.
Yeah, no, that's a good perspective. I'm thinking that
I find is that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, Dennis. I'm having fun listening. So go ahead.
Well, the thing that I'm kind of like, and I have to agree with you, is that, let's put it this way. Yes, yes, Debbie. Sorry. But the thing is that yes, there are, and it does seem like there's a lot more people that are starting to realize, or like you say, awaken to what's going on in the world, and they're questioning. Like they're showing their skepticism that little bit to like to wonder why. Like, like, don't you guys see this type of thing? You know what I mean? So that's good. I'm glad. I'm happy for you because you're definitely on your way there. Let's put it that way.
Well, to think about conspiracy, that's what I think. The food, the water, the air, and then all these crazy ideas end up being true. Like it was a conspiracy first, but geez Louise, it became true.
Yeah, some of them do. I know. Well, is it a conspiracy theory if it's true? That's the problem. Yeah.
Like that movie with Mel Gibson, and he ended up being right.
Oh yeah. There's another guy that's got problems.
Right. Absolutely. They're usually just the ones that are ahead of the pack.
That's right. Well, Dennis and I are way ahead of the pack somewhere.
I
Being
see
chased,
that.
maybe. Anyway, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And
thank you so
have
much.
a good night and hope it helps somewhat. So
it did. Thank you.
Thank
you.
Bye.
I'm going to take a couple of minutes to talk about something Dennis and I are trying to get off the ground, and we both need a quick kick in the butt. We're trying to. My wife belongs to a group that is called Happy Healthy Women, and it's a really cool organization. Only women can go, as the name says, and I think that's cool because they can get together and discuss things without worrying or whatever. Well, Dennis and I are trying to start not a happy, healthy man thing, but where some guys can get together and just chat because we're finding that a lot of guys don't know where to go. They don't want to go to out drinking with the guys necessarily, even though I'd like to do ours in a bar, but that's kind of counterproductive, I guess. But they don't, they don't want to go out all night and carouse and booze, but they want to get together and chat. So Dennis and I are going to be working on that, right, Dennis? So of getting together.
Yes.
And it's about healthy. When I say healthy, I don't mean physical health necessarily. It's more about mental health and.
Well, it's a three-pronged sword, right? Like when you think about it, it's mind, body, spirit sort of thing, really. That's the way I like to look at it anyways, is that, health comes in many different ways. And like you say, like it's mental health too. It's emotional health. It's, and nowadays too, there's there's a need for it, because it's, the world has shifted a lot where, let's put it this way, a lot of men, I think, are scared to open up a little bit about who they are or, what it means to be, let's say, for example, like a masculine energy around somebody, you know what I mean? And now it comes down to, allowing that to come out a little bit. It's okay.
Well,
there's nothing wrong.
Having a safe place, too. Having a safe place to go in and
yes.
and whine a little bit. And I don't mean bitch about your wife or bitch about your kids. I meant just, maybe Dennis has some knowledge about something or something helps or another person. That's really where I'm headed. And I think, I don't know, and Dennis always says this thing, keep it organic and let it grow. And that's something that he's helped me in the short time that we've hung out learn, is that I try to compartmentalize things and get things organized and do this. And sometimes I like that approach. I'm trying to do that more with my life a little bit, is make it more organic and not try to be so in charge of every instance, So that's a good thing.
The only reason I say that is because I used to do that myself. I used to plan my life around so much, and then I just found that...
No poop, Sherlock. I could tell that. That one I could tell. That's obvious. So we only have a few minutes left, like about 5 or something like that. So I was going to go over a couple of conspiracy... Yeah, I know. We like to talk a lot, Dennis. I'm sorry. Both of us. I wouldn't just say just you. So a couple of the conspiracy theories that we were going to talk about, which we never really got to, which I have a list of them here. One of them was like Neil Armstrong when he was on the moon when he first landed, and there's the cut off when he was talking, and it was about what he saw on the moon, which we'll have to get into next time. So that's a teaser. That's what they call that, Dennis, in the industry, a teaser.
Oh, okay.
So, well, I want to hear one from you. You never really said it, so go ahead. I'm putting you on the spot. I'm putting you right on the spot.
Well, actually, that's actually a very good one. But let's put it this way: what about cancer and a cure for it?
Yes, that, and I think
really, when you think about, like, how much money have they dumped into this? It is. They want to keep people sick, and that's what I think, anyway. It's a method of population control.
Ooh, that's really deep and dark. Now, you want to hear a story? I have a friend, when I was in Calgary, and he believed that cancer, they'd never give you a cure to cancer because of the amount of money they make off of it, and that it would destroy the whole industry. And ironically, he died of cancer. And that's just... No, but I mean, it's kind of like that. It's like, my thing is, we're talking about coal jobs on the other day. I was watching John Oliver, and I'm doing that. And he says to me, and it brought up something, there's bigger job in the world. There's truck drivers, right? How many millions and millions of truck drivers are out there? Well, when they get these self-driving trucks, what are we going to do both?
Well, then that's the thing. But the thing is, though, is that, okay, let's put it this way, too. You know, like everybody says, like, like, okay, we want to get away from oil. We want to get away from a lot of different things here. And I get that, like we want to try to, help Mother Earth here, if you want to call it that, or Gaia or whatever. But the thing is, though, is that how many different things in your house or in your life that's made from plastic? And where does plastic go? It's an offshoot of basically, through the refinery process.
Oil.
Exactly. And
oil. Oil makes the world go around.
We kind of need it to produce certain things. Otherwise, that car that, let's say, for example, that we drive, do you think that's going to be cheap? Like, that'll be $100,000-$200,000 vehicle for a, instead of a $30,000 vehicle. You know what I mean? Like, it's unfortunately there has to be a few realities with that too.
Yep, and see, now you just hit a soft spot with Tiffany here. She likes it's big pharma makes the money and the population control. She likes that one. So only the strongest will survive is alive and well. Wow, that's cool. Yeah, you struck it. We're going to have to talk about that next time.
I guess so, eh?
Oh. Yeah.
We'll save that one for the next one.
Yes. Yeah.
So anyway, thank you very much for...
No, thanks, Dennis. I had fun. I didn't get to promote anything. If you want to quickly, you can promote anything you want here, Dennis. Go ahead. If you're doing anything.
Well, if anybody's interested in a reading with me, feel free to give me a call at 647-949-1429. I know Betty Jane, she's got a number too through her website.
Oh, I'm not promoting her tonight. She told me not to because she's away for 2 weeks, and the minute I put her phone number out. Yeah.
Well, I'll do it for her then. Go to BettyJaneWare.com, I think it is, if I'm not mistaken. So the thing is that, because we are always here to help each other, right? And that's really what the world is about, helping each other, making our lives a little bit better, one step at a time, I guess you could say. Yeah.
Well, I think that's it, Dennis. And thank you again, and I'll talk to you this week. And I don't know if you're coming on next week, too, because we can continue this on, only maybe a little more organized, because not like we're in a pub somewhere. But anyway.
Maybe we should do it from a pub next time.
Hey, we could, Well, we could.
That's not a bad
All right. Thanks very much, Dennis. Have a good one.
You're very welcome. My pleasure. You too.
Okay. Bye. And thank you, Tiffany. And it was a lot of fun. And it's nice to have someone keep me in a little going forward. So, bye.